For the last two objectives in our section, we're going to first look at what it takes to divide real numbers. And they follow the same rules as multiplication. Or as my former student used to say, the Valentine rules. You already know that when you divide a positive number by a positive number, you get a positive answer. Just like with multiplication, if you divide a negative number by a negative number, you also get a positive answer. And a positive divided by a negative, or a negative divided by a positive, will always give a negative answer. Doesn't matter which one's on top, which one's on bottom, whether the top is bigger or the bottom is bigger, the answer will still be negative. We'll give this one a heart too. So, looking at this first problem, negative 24 divided by 8, think of just 24 divided by 8 is 3, and since we have a negative divided by a positive, the answer is going to be negative. 16 divided by 1 is 16, and since it's a negative divided by a negative, our answer is going to be positive. In this one, we have to think way back to the rules for doing division with fractions, and that is that we copy the first fraction just as it is, negative 7/12, and then we change the operation to multiplication, and then we flip the second fraction. So it's going to become 6/7 instead of 7/6. Then, even though there are negative signs on here, we can still look for factor pairs that we can remove. So I see a pair of 7s there, and a pair of 6s there. My numerator becomes 1, my denominator is just 2, and since I had a negative multiplied by a negative, or a negative divided by a negative, my final answer is going to be positive. In this last example, 15 divided by negative 45, I know my final answer is negative, but because my numerator is smaller than my denominator, I'm not really going to end up doing division in the 15 divided by 45 way that we're thinking. I'm just going to reduce this because division is the same thing as a fraction. So this is really 15 times 1, and if you think of a clock, 15 minutes times 3 gives you 45 minutes. So we can get rid of the pair of 15s, and we're left with a negative 1/3, since our bottom was negative and our top was positive. Final objective for the section is applying the order of operations, or PEMDAS, with all of these different things going on. So we've got parentheses and division and multiplication and exponents and signs. Let's see if we can put it all together and do it all at once. Looking at the first problem, I see division here, addition here, multiplication here. Following order of operations, I need to do the division and the multiplication before I add. So 21 divided by 3 is 7, and since this one's negative and 3 is positive, it's going to be a negative 7. Negative 7 times 5 gives me a negative 35. Then the addition just comes down, and when I add a negative 7 and a negative 35, I get a negative 42. Looking at this last problem, I've got division, looks like I've got addition, and I've also got an exponent. So I'm going to take care of the exponent first. 3 squared gives me 9. Recopy the rest. The division's going to happen next. 28 divided by 7 would be 4. So divided by negative 7 will be negative 4. Oops, I lied. I forgot to copy down that negative. Negative 28 divided by negative 7 will be positive 4. And when I add 9 more to it, I get a final answer of 13.